everyone. My name is Dia Buthandam. I'm a manager with Avia Health's Insights and Advisory Team, and today I'm joined by Andy Parham, CEO of Brado. Avia is a member-based network of health systems and digital solution companies, and we work very closely with our members across the country to tackle the most pressing challenges in healthcare with innovative and transformative solutions. And so, really excited to dive in with Andy to learn about Brado, what you all do, and what you're seeing in your work today, and are especially from an Avia perspective excited about the work that Brado is doing because we have spent significant time at Avia with our health systems in the past year, unpacking everything that goes into creating orchestrated consumer experiences that are predictive, personalized, proactive, and connected throughout their journey. And so, highly aligned to Brado's mission. I won't share too much more. I'll let Andy do more of that overview, but I'm excited to jump in. So, before we hear more about Brado and what you all do, would love to pass it over to you, Andy, to do an introduction and tell us more about yourself and your background and your time at Brado.
Great. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here and a pleasure to be a part of the Avia network. My background is primarily in consumer engagement. I've spent the majority of my career working on brands and branded experiences that are targeting consumers. Brado is a 30-year-old firm that I acquired in 2017. I was looking to build a great consumer engagement firm for healthcare. And Brado, we looked at 250 companies, and Brado stood out to me because of the research that Brado's been conducting into consumer journeys for now almost 30 years. And we've conducted research into every consumer health journey imaginable, and our focus has been to identify the tension in those journeys that prevents a person from taking the right next step. In 2019, we added digital marketing capabilities. And the idea was if we knew every stage of a journey, we could map the 100 million health related questions that are asked Google every day to those stages. We could develop effective SEO strategies and effective paid media strategies and target people in particular stages. And if we knew the tension in those stages, we could present them with a message that would help get them to take the right next step. And in 2022, we became very serious about conversational AI and about how it might be harnessed to transform navigation in healthcare. And we partnered with a large health system, Bon Secours Mercy Health, in a 9-month innovation journey where we explored that question, could conversational AI once and for all help us transform navigation in healthcare? We concluded that we thought it would, and we launched what we call our conversational AI engagement platform. That's a quick background on where we've been and what we're doing now.
Yeah, great overview. Thanks, Andy. I know you mentioned that you all have been around for almost 30 years and have definitely seen an evolution in your company and your product offerings. Curious if you can unpack a little bit more how those offerings have worked in response to the broader market dynamics and, evolution of the market that we're all seeing today, and kind of just get your perspective on that as well.
Sure, there's obviously lots and lots of change over that period of time, but the one that we focus on the most is trust. The bottom has really fallen out of trust across every institution over the last decade plus. And we think that that's a critical challenge when we're talking about engaging with people in their very personal health journeys and trying to help them understand and take the right next step. So, core to our strategy is we've built our conversational engagement platform as a white label platform, and we're partnering where there is the most trust, and that is the healthcare provider.
Mhm.
So, we partner with health systems and we showcase their brand. And the platform persona is based upon who they are, their mission, and their brand. And we engage with people that way. What's really interesting about that is recently there was an article in the Wall Street Journal about Dr. Grok. And then a couple of weeks ago, there was an article in the New York Times about Dr. ChatGPT.
Mhm.
And both of those articles highlighted two things. One, people are engaging with conversational AI to get help in their health journeys, which was a key part of our investment thesis when we set out to build this platform. But in both articles, the writers said they wish that they could be having this conversation with their provider, but their provider's overwhelmed, and so they can't. So they go to Dr. Grok or they go to Dr. ChatGPT. Our platform is an extension of the provider. So our platform leverages that trust, builds guardrails, clinical guardrails, and other guardrails, and effectively delivers the experience that the patient consumer wants, but delivers it from a trusted brand. And we think that's a magical combination.
Yeah, absolutely. And definitely resonates with the things that we're hearing from our network, both on the digital health company side as well as the health systems that we work with. I can definitely see a case to be made for a platform like Brado being relevant both in the fee for service world as well as the fee for value world, or in the case of many, health systems who have a foot in both of those worlds, kind of a hybrid of the two. I'm curious to hear you unpack a little bit more how you articulate the value of Brado, kind of tailored to each of those two different environments.
Yeah, so the one obvious extension of our strategy to partner with providers is we start with their objectives. And the nice thing is that their objectives, based upon, these are mission-oriented organizations, their objectives are very aligned with what is best for the patient consumer. And in a fee-for-service world, their objectives are to guide people in the communities that they serve into the high-quality doctors and technologies and programs that they have curated at great expense, but are not optimally they're not optimized from a capacity standpoint. And so we identify those service lines where there is capacity, and then we go out into the digital wild and we find people that have raised their hand and signaled that they're having a orthopedic challenge or they have a cardiovascular challenge. We engage with those people in a conversation and then guide them into that fee for service
Mhm.
model where there is capacity. So that's that piece. In a value-based care standpoint, what's interesting is that when we were working on this innovation journey with Bon Secours Mercy Health, their mission is to deliver good help. That's what Bon Secours means. And and that good help they define beyond just clinical help. They define it as whole person help. Another way to think about it is social determinants related health help. And so we actually architected our platform to be able to build resource libraries that not only feature clinical help, but also feature non-clinical help that a person may need in their journey, which could lead to an avoidance of an unnecessary ER visit or an unnecessary unreimbursed clinical visit in a fee for value type of contract.
Yeah, absolutely. Great overview and definitely speaking our language and, across some of the work that we've done with our health systems as well. So happy to hear that. Um, Pulling on that thread a little bit more, I know you mentioned that you had a significant collaboration with Bon Secours Mercy. Curious if you can share any of the, results or impact that you've realized in that work that you've done with them, as well as your broader partnerships with health systems. What are some of the metrics that you've moved
Yeah.
the needle on?
Yeah, so thank you. So we deploy the platform against three objectives. The first is targeted growth, and
Mhm.
I just described a bit of that. So going, and that tends to be organized service line by service line. The second is network integrity. And so we work with our clients to identify where they have leakage, where they have referrals that don't convert, and we deploy the platform there. And so we deploy the platform for example, at intake into a referral center. You scan a QR code and you meet Catherine, which is the name of our platform for Bon Secours Mercy Health. And once the referral is made, Catherine is there to provide information about that clinician that you've been referred to. So we built multimedia into the platform so you get a little 15-second video of that doctor introducing themselves. We provide quality information. We provide logistical help on parking or directions to the office, what they need to be prepared with. So the idea is to keep the person in that referral pattern that the referring doc knows is good for them, but maybe they don't have awareness of that doctor, or maybe there's another health system across the street that they want to understand what they have to offer, and so we're using the platform to reinforce the referral. So that's the second objective, and the third objective is resource optimization. So what we're working on now is we're working on a way to match the patient with the right subspecialist in a way that goes far beyond traditional decision trees. So by actually accessing the electronic health record data that's connected to the provider with the interaction that our platform has with the consumer patient to do a more effective job at matching. And so you end up with clinicians that are operating at the top of their license, commonly used phrase, and you eliminate re-referrals and things that are very frustrating for the patient consumer. So the results that we're getting initially, we started with all of our health systems, and I don't know why this has happened. It doesn't have to work this way, but inevitably we've started with targeted growth. So in each of the health systems that we've worked with, they've identified those very important service lines like cardiovascular, oncology, orthopedics, et cetera. And we've identified how much targeted growth that we believe that we can drive. And what we're doing there is a combination of geo and our conversational engagement platform. So right now, we're moving from the blue link economy to the generative search economy, and that means that SEO has to give way to generative engine optimization. And those two things work together. So we work with our clients with traditional kind of technical SEO so that their brand shows up in generative search. We meet the person there and we guide them into a conversational engagement solution that helps them, particularly in the early stages of journeys. So at mile zero, when a person is searching signs or symptoms, they're experiencing something, we show up there with Geo and our platform. We engage in this conversation and then guide people into our clients' help in those service lines. So the metrics there are how many people can we engage? How many of those end up converting into an appointment, and how many of those appointments convert into procedures? And what is the 3-year episodic value of a procedure? Those are the things that we're measuring, and we're exceeding all of our projected returns for our existing clients.
That's great and not easy tasks to take on. So congratulations to your team for
Thank you.
that. Pulling on that thread a little more, as I'm sure you know all too well, any point tech solution can't really be successful without A, being able to fully integrate properly and thoughtfully with the existing tech stack that your client might have in place, A, and then B, being able to have a really thoughtful plan for operationalizing this work and really embedding it into workflows. So it's not just, a tool that's sitting on the side, but really intuitive for the people that are using it. Curious how Brado approaches, supporting your clients from an implementation and ongoing perspective, both on the tech side as well as the operational side.
There's so much to that question. So I'm going to try to just hit the highlights.
Yeah.
So first of all, we do not consider ourselves a point solution. We are we built a agentic AI platform, and our agent is the orchestrator. And so we have multiple agents in our platform, but we also built it to integrate with other agents as they're rapidly emerging. But from a user perspective, and the user in this case is the patient consumer,
Mhm.
the experience is completely seamless. So we're sort of an Uber solution over point solutions.
Mhm.
Second is that most of our clients have very strong, deep relationships with Epic. And so we've designed our solution to provide seamless handoffs into those Epic workflows. And we're helping drive volume into those. So, for example, online scheduling. And so we seamlessly guide people into that. The third is that we are integrating into EHRs via Tefka, via direct integrations into Epic and other EHRs, so that we are seamless and attributable as we're guiding people in and out of those systems. And then finally, in terms of integration of operational processes, workflows. When we launch a new client, we have two workshops with those clients. The first workshop is what we call an insight immersion workshop or journey immersion. So we come in based on the 30 years of research that Brado's conducted into journeys, and we share everything we know about that cardiovascular journey, every stage of the journey, the tension that the person experiences. And then we work with our clients to identify all the good help that they have to offer to resolve those tensions. The second workshop is what we call an experience blueprint. And that's where we work with the clinical and operational leaders of the service lines on identifying exactly what access point they want us to guide a person into at various stages of the journey so that we're very aligned, very integrated with their workflows, with their network, with their access points.
That's great. Great overview. And appreciate you distilling that down into a very succinct answer because I'm sure there's, 10 hours worth of that that could be unpacked for each of those. Um, Want to check before, we wrap up, anything else that, from a call to action perspective or just, as we wrap this webinar up, what would you like viewers to remember about Brado? What do you want them to know? Anything that you want to mention that I might not have asked you yet? The floor is yours.
Yeah, I'd like to mention two things. First of all, our business model is we view that this conversational engagement platform is a competitive differentiator for our clients. And therefore, our model is that we've identified over 200 MSAs that are a really good fit and that we can make a lot of impact. And then we interview health systems in those markets and select one that we're going to partner with because we view it as a competitive differentiator. So I would love to speak with any health system that has identified these three needs of targeted growth, network leakage, resource optimization, as is very curious about how we might harness conversational AI to help them against those objectives. And I'd love to talk to them about whether or not we have a mutual fit to partner in a particular market. The final thing I'll say, just zooming way up, is we're in this Malthusian moment in healthcare where we have demand rising because of an aging population that needs more healthcare, and we have a workforce shortage that is getting very acute and very scary. And just like when Malthus predicted that the world would run out of food, and it didn't because he didn't factor in his math was right, but he didn't factor in innovation. That's how we view the potential of conversational AI properly harnessed to help navigate people into the right care, to help open up a new access point for providers to be able to resolve questions that otherwise would hit a call center or an unnecessary visit, and to deliver a differentiated experience that leads to better health and better outcomes for patients. So this is a really big problem that we're shooting to be a key part of the solution, and we're looking for health systems that are aligned with us and how we're thinking about it that we can partner with.
Perfect call to action. Appreciate that, Andy. Thank you so much for your time. Before we wrap, also want to check, are there any upcoming conferences or resources that you'd like our audience to know about, or anything that you would recommend we point them to as they want to learn more about Brado?
Well, we are in the next 3 or 4 weeks, we will be announcing a significant investment from a very well-known healthcare venture fund. And we'll be announcing that we are spinning out our conversational AI business into what we're going to call Brado AI.
Mhm.
And there'll be a lot to come after that. So if you look to hit our website in the next couple of weeks, there'll be much there to review.
We will keep our eyes peeled.
Okay.
So for those viewing, you can learn more about Brado from their website. Keep your eyes peeled for those announcements, and also can learn more on our Avia Marketplace platform. And we'll link those. We'll add a link to both of those at the end of this recording. Andy, so great to speak to you. Thank you so much for your time, and excited to hear about those updates in the coming weeks.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.